Hi, and welcome to Soul Activation Podcast, a world-class broadcast of spiritual insight and inspiration with me, Suzanne Alexandria. In this series, we dive deep into the magical sea of you, to that place in you that's ready to activate, but might not even know what that means. Do you crave to be more spiritually connected? Intriguing, fun, and full of magic, we'll laugh and cry and talk about how crazy this life is, offering healing and insights to lean into. This show broadcasts from pure divine love. Are you ready to light your eternal flame, to spark some magic? Let's talk transformation. Hello, friends. Good afternoon or morning or evening. I'm Suzanne Alexandria, your host of Soul Activation Podcast on this amazing Monday on Transformation Talk Radio. And when I was putting together this podcast, I was thinking, what a brilliant mix this is going to be of transformation. And to me, what frankly is the key to transformation? Well, there's two keys. There's two key ingredients. Love, that's a given. Unconditional divine love is the key to transformation. And boy, do I know about that. But also freedom. Freedom lets you transform completely. And remembering, knowing, believing, or even having faith that you're free, that we're actually free, that's something that I have come into in recent years. And it really parlays into all the work that I do with my clients in my work. I'm an energy activation specialist. I help people really harmonize their energy bodies, understand their chakra system, and essentially break free of old energy. Like, it's actually all about that. Old energy, old thoughts, old patterns are basically what keeps us in prison. And I mean, it's taken me years to parcel this out and understand it. And, it certainly doesn't happen overnight. But as I have come into my own sense of who I am, my own expression, my business, I operate an academy for inner wisdom. And I help business leaders, teachers, other professionals, other healers, other energy workers, but also entrepreneurs, the corporate executives. I help people understand what's keeping them stuck. And what I have found is that there's a kind of like a formula in a way. What keeps us stuck is deep. It's always really deep. It's usually not what we think it is. And it's usually not another person or place or thing. It's usually us. So let me kind of back up and back into this, because this today is about my understanding of freedom, of how I work with clients to help them remember they're free with tools, with divine intervention, divine guidance, channeling, energy shifting. And we're going to do a little exercise towards the end of this podcast. So you'll probably want to stick around. A guided intuition exercise with one of my beloved guides, Mary Magdalene. It's going to be an energy transmission with her energy to help you as a listener, as an experiencer, dive a little bit more into your heart, into your brain, into your body, and understand where you might have a block that's keeping you free. So that's going to be a little kind of freebie today, a little example of what I do and how I work with people, but also a freebie, because the fun thing about this podcast is that we are broadcasting in the middle of July. It happens to be July 12th. And we just had American Independence Day on the 4th. And on Wednesday, it's French Independence Day, Bastille Day. And I'm going to be celebrating with some of my French, teacher friends. And we're going to celebrate, because France holds such a dear place in my heart, and Mary Magdalene lived there after the lifetime that she had with Yeshua. And so this time, the last few years as I've been doing my own inner work has become very significant as not only a demarcation of freedom out there, which we celebrate with the 4th of July, but even I noticed in social media a lot more pronouncements of freedom internally as I've started to take that. I've been teaching classes on the 4th of July, and I did this year, to help my clients, help us get into a little more vibration of freedom. Freedom really is a vibration. I mean, if you think about let freedom ring, you know, from the bell that's in Philadelphia, the Liberty Bell, let freedom ring from the courthouses, let freedom ring. That's been like a thing that we have spoken and even sung, and that's a vibration when we sing the national anthem. I was just at a swim meet with my kiddos this morning singing the national anthem, and it's quite powerful when you hear that freedom announcement belted over a loudspeaker. It's a vibration, and you place your hand on your heart and you feel it. It's a thing. So what I've come to discern is that thankfully, you know, we're living in this time, in this place that I live, where many of you listeners live, where we actually have a lot of freedom. You know, things aren't the way that we perhaps want them to be, but when you talk about the history of our planet, in the United States, in our construct we have now, many of us are living fairly freely, and I'm grateful for that. You know, it's a blessing. I know world events, it is not the case everywhere. And I send prayers of freedom to all those places quite often in the world where there are leaders and, you know, kind of torrential interference in people's freedoms. I know that's real, but I also know that freedom and liberty is a state of mind. It's a state of being, a state of beingness. So if you're in a place where you're feeling stuck, which often we are, what is it that's keeping you stuck? That's a little taste of the meditation I'm going to guide you through in a little bit with Mary Magdalene. What is it that keeps you stuck? Because you're unique and you have your own flavor of stuckness and idea of what freedom is and reality of freedom. And I've realized that it's a really powerful choice to choose yourself as free from repeating patterns of like, oh, I could never do that, or I could never be good enough for that, or I could never have that kind of car, or I could never live there, I could never have a partner. That's a mindset. How many mindsets do we have running our show in essence? And how many times do we get to stop and tell ourselves, wait a minute. I am telling myself some cockamamie story that is not true. It's like you get to have the sand running through the hourglass or one way or the other. You get to flip your perspective one way or the other. And that's what I help people do. It's profound work. And the thing that I've learned in working with spirit to do this work is that, for instance, in traditional mindset work like therapy, we don't always get to bring spirit in. We don't always get to bring the light in to those deepest places and shine it where we're really stuck, because we don't have the means. Sometimes just talking or our old ways aren't enough to get at the deep core of our stuckness, of our unfreedom. And so bringing in light, lifting up to a place higher than our normal realm lets us go inside more deeply. So I'm just going to tell a little bit about my story and how I got here, because it might be relevant. And I am quite sure that some listeners are in similar places, because a lot of my clients come to work with me because they're like, I know there's something that I want to do. I know there's some way, something missing, and I can't put my finger on it. And I get to use light and spirit and light work to shine a reflection in there and say, oh, how about this? What about if this is what's keeping you stuck? Or what if you look at it like this? And I'm not unique in that. There's lots of people doing that. I'm just giving today a little taste of the kind of work that I do. And I would love to talk to you if you're piqued by this conversation and you feel like, maybe we have a synergy. I offer free 15-minute discovery phone calls. If you go to my website at SuzanneAlexandria.com, you can set up a call at any time, and we can talk about what you're looking for and understand if we're a good match. And that's how I work with people. I work in terms of helping energetically reflect what's needed, and I do very deep energy clearings, and you'll experience that in a little bit. But what I found, and I was just talking to a therapist recently about this, is so often, even when we get to a realization, people don't have the tools to release the energy that's been built up over time, because thoughts become actual matter. Thoughts are energy. They can become very emotionally charged, and emotions are energy in motion. And when we don't have the mechanisms to clear out our energy fields, to let go of old baggage, to release the past, to clear it out of our body where we're holding it, it can have a profound impact. It causes pain, it causes anxiety, it causes depression, because it causes blockages. And that inherently is like the opposite of internal freedom. So for me, freedom is so much about energetically saying I'm free, and also making sure my whole body and my systems are aligned. And that's kind of some work. There's practices for that. There's daily routines like yoga and qigong and meditation and Reiki. And I tap into all of those modalities, and I teach from all of them, and I teach energy work to help professionals and executives really understand like the lay of the land and the lay of themselves, and what is needed in order to unhook, clear out, get free, bust out. So just going back to my story, I spent 20 years working in corporate America in Washington, D.C., in our capital. And I worked a lot right on Capitol Hill, right by, the Capitol and the headquarters of so many amazing organizations and agencies. And I ended up my time there managing large teams at the U.S., at a couple of U.S. agencies, including Health and Human Services. And I was in technology. So all the while I was learning technology and like how things get put on the internet and how they work. And it actually really profoundly helped me understand the energy of our bodies when I started to study Reiki and I started to study chakras, and realized that our bodies are very much like computers, or rather also iPhones, with all these different apps. You can delete apps, you can add apps, you can install things. And if one is taking up too much energy, you want to get rid of it or look at it or figure it out. It's actually the perfect metaphor for what I do in so many ways. And so often when I'm working with people, I'm likening it to that, and it makes sense. It's like, oh yeah, I've been stuck with that app for a long time, ever since childhood, or ever since I, left college, or whatever it is. So energy, it's all about energetics, and it's all about consciousness and mindset shifts. And I know that's nothing new, but it is a thing that we have to kind of get used to feeling empowered about. And that's why I'm here today, is talking about feeling and knowing that you're powerful, that you actually have choices in how you think. You don't have to think the way you always did. And if you're in pain, you might want to not think that way because it's causing a lot of pain, and literal pain. So I came into getting really clear. I was forced into what, like with a crowbar, because my marriage fell apart back in 2009. And then I got diagnosed in 2013 with, luckily, very early onset breast cancer. And I say luckily because, like, in terms of that cancer, I had one of the most the best kinds, not really a threat. I had to have some pretty intensive surgeries and go through a deep healing, but that experience really propelled me into looking inward at what in the heck was going on in my body and in my relationships that was causing this kind of dysfunction. And that's pretty extreme. I mean, I have pretty extreme stories, but I'm not alone in having those kinds of stories. And what I do know is that through the grace of the light that holds us, divine love, spirit, source, God, Mother, Father, God, I've been able to dig really deeply and move out so much energy and clear and literally rebuild my life bit by bit by bit by bit by bit. My marriage ended. In the process, remembered that I had been the victim of very serious childhood trauma at the hand of someone in my family for quite some time. So I'm no stranger to the trauma that we hold in our hearts, in our bodies. And I work with people every day who experience that or hold on to the past in such a way that it keeps them from experiencing the life that they really, really came here to live. And my clients are working really hard in the same way to say, you know what? Yeah, this happened. I'm going to look at it, I'm going to understand it, and I am going to change. The change begins with me. That is the common denominator. The change begins with me. With every example that I have, even in my own life, I've got teenagers, I was married. When something wasn't working, it always comes back to me. It's always something in me that I need to pay attention to. I need to reframe. I need to heal. I need to let go. I need to change. And we, ladies and gentlemen, we are that powerful. And that's really the message of spirit right now through me, with me. My team is helping us really take back our power, especially women. But I don't only work with women, but taking back our power, and it's our belief structure that we've got to change. Someone took your voice years ago, someone took your freedom, maybe your body, maybe your business. Well, you know what? What are you gonna do about it? Are you gonna wallow, or are you going to use it to transform yourself? Sometimes it feels like a crowbar in there, like going through, but your response to any of that is key. How your kids treat you, how people at work treat you, how a spouse treats you. If it is not on par with what you deserve, there is something going on that you are not powerless over. You have power over. It might take time, it might take work, but inherently, your freedom comes from knowing that you're powerful beyond measure, that you're loved beyond measure. And that's the message I've received day after glorious day, going through my deep, deep, deep journey. And that is really the vibration that I hope to share and convey, that you're never powerless. You also have every right to be free. You also have every right to experience all the emotion and upset and feelings that you experience. But if they have a hold on you, if you can't get out from under them, then you need help. We all pretty much need a little bit of help to get through. So the question becomes, we'll shift it a little bit to you, to starting to tune in to your own life. And hopefully this is shining a spotlight already on places in you that you might be holding on. But where are there any places where you're not free? Let's just ask that. What's a place in your life, in your body, in relationships, in yourself, in your heart, in your brain, in your mind, in your soul, where you're not free? Is there a place? Is there something that niggles you all the time, or that makes you wake up every night, or that keeps you from speaking out your mind, or laughing? Is there a place in you that is not free? Because the first part of this is daring to turn it on you, turn the spotlight on you, and let spirit shine a spotlight for you and with you, and let yourself get vulnerable and brave and say, oh, you know what? Yeah, I'm not really free here. Something has a hold on me. And if you don't know what it is, that's okay. Being willing to know what it is everything. That is you taking that golden key, putting your crown on, and saying, all right, I don't know the answer, but I know I hold the key in my hand, my powerful hand. There is a key, and I hold it. No one else holds it. You do. That was one of the first messages that I got from Spirit about 3 years ago. I remember the day vividly. I was working with one of my dear best friends and mentors, and Spirit came through her and said, the key is already on the chain around your neck. And that was a metaphor, but they were saying, you already have the key. So what is it that you have the key for that you're ready to unlock? Do you want to go there? Do you want to spend some time? We're not going to do that today, but that is the kind of work that I do. But you're invited to say, yeah, I want to put the key right in there and unlock that. And I would advise you to do that and show Spirit that you're ready. Because Spirit meets you in action. My dear friend Betsy has taught me that Spirit meets you at the point of action. So if you want to take that key and say, okay, I know it's right, like my shoulder's bothering me, and I know I'm holding on to this grudge. I don't know how to deal with it, but I'm going to put the key there. I'm going to say, I'm going to unlock my heart. And I'm going to be willing to let love show me the way. I would encourage you to say a prayer about it, to maybe go journal about it, maybe go on a walk and open your heart to, wow, I didn't realize I'm holding on to that baggage. It doesn't feel very good. I'm going to let this go. Give it up to Mother Earth. Give it up to the light. Ask for help. When you're brave enough to ask for help, miracles happen. When you're brave enough to step into your life, that's where Spirit meets you, miracles happen, and you can, and you do find freedom. You know, I've heard stories of people who were literally imprisoned physically, but they came out knowing and remembering that their spirit is inherently free. I've got a dear friend whose brother was in a wheelchair for many, many years before he transitioned. And he lived with such a free spirit that to this day, you know, we herald him as an example of being confined, but spiritually free. I mean, there are few better examples than that, and I honor him. He knows who I'm talking about. And, you know, like stories of Nelson Mandela or Elie Wiesel, who lived through the Holocaust and came out realizing there is inherent light. There is, you know, it's all, you can find what you need in your heart. You can find what you need, the muster to get through the Holocaust. If you can do that, you know you're free and you know you're loved. And for me, I didn't even know I wasn't free because I lived what I say under the matrix. I was enmeshed in some pretty mischievous energy, we'll say, created by those around me who really enslaved me. And I did not know that because I had been really groomed into that whole way. So it wasn't even foreign. It was just the way it was until I realized, oh, that isn't the way it has to be. Like that was my key. Having a message come in that, you know, it doesn't have to be like this. And I didn't even know there was a problem, to be quite honest. I knew there were plenty of things in my life that weren't the way I wanted them to be. But here I am, you know, a woman living in a house in the suburbs. I'm not in jail, but I did not realize my heart was totally in jail. My spirit was totally not free. And, you know, like it's profound to look back at that and say, wow, how can you live in this day and age and not even realize that, not know, but I also know I'm not alone. And that's why I'm here today talking about this, because so many of us are like imprisoned by thought structures or what other people have told us, what we've heard, and then we believe it. So many forces. And I'm not even judging that because so often it's purposeful. But if this is striking any resonance at all, if you feel like, oh, there's something I need to get at and I want some help with that, then I would love to talk to you. I would love to talk about working with you through my Academy of Inner Wisdom. What I do is work energetically to help my clients understand their intuition system and understand what's going on literally in their bodies, in their hearts, in their lives, so that they can kind of peel away the layers and then come back in a really new realm of wholeness and enlightenment. This is about opening up your intuition system. It's about opening your heart. It's also about asking spirit in, because that's what I do big time. And I believe there's no better way to be free than to call in however you experience spirit, if it's God or if it's the angels, if it's the earth, the trees, the stars. To me, it's all of it. God created all of it. It's all of that. And there's a lot of beings and energies and hearts that are here to support us with such unconditional love. And when we call that in for ourselves, it's like bringing in this divine hand that holds us through. And I would not be here without that. I know that without a shadow of a doubt. I wouldn't be here today if I hadn't been able to do that and been able to know that I'm worthy of that. So I pray that speaks to you in a way that assists you in your path. And what I'd like to do is bring energetic frequencies of freedom into your realm. So we're going to move into a bit of an energy shifting meditation. If you would like to experience that and call that in, then simply say yes to your heart's highest good. Whatever is for the highest good of your soul, your heart. This is freedom. This is you expressing free will that, yes, I would like to experience this. I will take whatever is helpful and beneficial to me. Nothing more, only for my highest good. That's the way I live now, and I proclaim. And we're teaching free will. It's a free will universe. So you never have to let any energy in that you don't want. And by the way, that's a bugaboo about all the talk about empaths and how people are realizing that feelings are real, energy is real, and saying, oh, no, well, I'm an empath, so everything affects me. I used to be that way, and I realized through a lot of help, I didn't have to feel every single yucky thing out there and in here. It's not very empowering, and it certainly wasn't freedom to be such a feeler, such an empath, and at the mercy, at the behest of anything that comes along at the grocery store, that you kind of feel someone else has had a bad day. I don't want to live like that, but I also didn't know I didn't have to. So if you are newly coming into the realization that you're empathic, you might want to chat with me too. We could do some work, because what ends up happening is I help empaths find where they have, let's call it openings, like Swiss cheese, where they're allowing a lot of stuff in, and you don't want to do that. This is your castle. Your vessel, your body is your castle. You're the queen or the king or the emperor or the empress of it, or the duchess or the duke. And you don't have to be at the mercy of lots of things. The world has a lot of frenzied energy out there, and you don't need to be feeling it all. And that's one of the things I teach to leaders, to executives, to lots of people, because, coming into your intuition often opens up a lot of feeling, but it's empowered. It's meant to be for your empowerment, because feelings are meant to show you, that's what's going on. They're like a radar system, the way I see it. So reach out if you seek help with that. But let's go ahead and work with the beloved guide, the beloved Ascended Master, Mary Magdalene. So I'm going to lead you through a little small exercise, the likes of which I work with clients in groups and one-on-ones. So I invite you to close your eyes and rub your hands together, unless you're driving in the car, of course. You do this all consciously, but you might just want to wait if you're driving. But tap in to that place in you, down in your belly. Take a few deep breaths and find that place where it's beautiful and serene and dark. In there, Kaya Ra talks about that as the womb of no thing. Find that calm, still place deep inside your belly, in your core. That place where you can go for respite and for knowing. That's the place where you get to push a reset button, essentially. When the day gets a little too hectic, take some breaths, go into your calm, little, cool, vibrationally charged, amazing space where there's nothing but breath. That's you breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. And we ask the energy, the blessing of Mary Magdalene to align all of your primary 7 chakras and the other 5. So together, she and I are going to harmonize your chakras, your column of light. And imagine that there's a beautiful column of light from source above you, going all the way down through the crown of your head, down through your body, and working its way through your feet and your root, down into the earth. So almost like a flagpole, a sturdy, sturdy freedom flagpole. To me, getting this kind of alignment is where it's at. That's where I feel free. I get back in alignment, I'm free. So you might even ignite your flag up above your head and start to wave it. Maybe it's an American flag, or maybe it's some other flag that's symbolic for you. Start to wave that, because alignment is freedom, if you ask me. Alignment with the divine, I mean, that's like the best freedom there is. So let that start to work through you as Mary and I, together with our energies, with our teams, help you harmonize your chakra system. And from the waist down, feel this beautiful pyramid pedestal, like the Statue of Liberty, that's expanding your base. Because grounding is so key. If you're going to fly your flag high, you want a really solid foundation. So let it be anchoring you from the waist, almost like it's holding you, like you're Katy Perry, at a big stadium, and they have those kind of things they're held in that wrap around their waist, so they can belt it out from this like transcendent place. You want to be grounded. Let it be grounded. Let yourself be grounded. And then feel this beautiful waterfall of luminescent blue and white light flowing from above into your field, in through your crown, in washing through your body. It's bringing in waters of freedom, 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 freedom. Let it flow. Let it flow. Just let the feeling, the vibration of freedom fill your body, your legs, your feet, your heart, your throat, your mouth, and then all around you like a big bubble of blue, sparkly blue and white freedom. And say the words a few times internally. I am free. I really am free. And start to notice when you say that. Is there any place that in your body where you're getting a little bit of resonance that you're not free? Like anything start to come up that niggles at you, as I like to say. Any place where your body or your intelligence system is saying, wait a minute, what about here? Like maybe you've had a lingering pain somewhere. Maybe there's just like a flashing red light in the back of your shoulder. Because that might be giving you a clue that there's something you're holding that is opposite, it's in opposition to the belief that I'm free. So if that's the case, just let yourself shine a spotlight, a flashlight or a spotlight right to that place and tell it, you know what, I'm free. Because it's a lie that I'm not. And if that knot in the back of my shoulder is believing something else, I just want to burst that away, clear it away, transmute it to light. Back to light, back to light. So your awareness tells yourself, well, I really am free. You're shining source light right there to that place that might have temporarily believed, I'm not free, but you are. So shine your source light to any place in your body, in your field, in your heart, in your brain, in your psyche, in your gut, that may have been feeling not free. And let Source fill the place instead with freedom codes. You might be imagining red, white, and blue, our colors of transcendent freedom. It might look like a daisy to you. It might look like a bumblebee or a bird. But speaking of birds, we're calling in the energy of Grandmother Eagle Spirit to shine on you and to bestow you with the blessing of freedom, of inherent freedom, and remembering deep in your heart, you already are free and you're so loved by the divine. You're already free. So feel her with her wings flapping behind you and above you, maybe even in front of you, as she kind of moves energy away that was anything other than the belief that you're free. And Grandmother Eagle Spirit is this powerful billowing energy that you might feel moving back and forth, forward and back, helping you blow away any opposition to freedom. Transmuted to light. It's that simple sometimes. It's that clarifying sometimes. So allow yourself to receive as much of this as you would like. If you would like to linger in this vibration of Grandmother Eagle, let her keep billowing her amazing wings over you. If you'd like to keep relishing this alignment charge that you received through Ascended Master Mary Magdalene, you can even say a prayer to her for more like this. Help me align more. This can continue throughout your day, throughout your journey. And we just ask a blessing of solidarity, of wholeness, and that this provide each of you who's listening to this with just exactly the soul and the divine energies that you seek. Nothing more, nothing less, and it's all yours. You did this. You're the creator of this freedom. So with that, I just would like to say thank you so much for listening to this about freedom. This is the work that I do. I work with executives, I work with therapists, I work with healers, business women and businessmen, parents, teachers, lots of professionals who are agencies of change. They're interested in change, and they know that that change happens right here with A number one first. If we're going to change the world and the structure and the politics and all of that, it starts right here. That I know. You want to talk about a place where there's not a lot of freedom. It's like in our systems, all the structures. I'm not even going to name names, you know. So doing the work internally is how we figure it out, and then we go out and create the change that we want to see in the world. It's the quote, I think it's Mother Teresa, forgive me if it's not, be the change you want to see in the world. It happens in here. So if you're interested in more freedom codes, more freedom light, and more tools to understand to help you work in a new way, breaking your mind free of constant chatter, that kind of thing, attuning to spirit, even communicating intuitively with the angelic realm. To me, all of that is part of freedom. If so, I would love to talk to you. Reach out. You can find me at SuzanneAlexandria.com. You can send me an email, Suzanne@SuzanneAlexandria.com. It's pretty easy. And we'll chat. I have a number of different programs and options. I work with Reiki. I teach professionals how to use Reiki in daily life. I've got my Academy for Inner Wisdom, really guiding and helping people go deep and open their intuition systems. It's a thing. It's like a Lamborghini system, but you might not even know. You might be kind of like driving a jalopy. If you want it to get all shiny like a Lamborghini or a Porsche, then that's the kind of work I do too. So whatever it is, I also do readings to help you understand where things are with you and others. I'd be happy to discuss some of the packages and see if we're a good fit. So reach out if this is of interest at all. And I would love to talk, and I will see you on my next podcast. I'm here on Transformation Talk Radio on Soul Activation Podcast every second and fourth Monday at 3 p.m. West Coast time. 2 p.m. West Coast time, 3 p.m. Denver, 5 p.m. Eastern. I'd love to see you here again. Thank you so much, and have a blessed, free rest of your day and week and month. Namaste. To me, this path of healing and enlightenment is this immaculate process of finding all the parts of us that have been lost and hidden and even taken, and then very masterfully and lovingly recombining ourselves, coming into our true self, and then all of a sudden realizing, oh my gosh, I'm home. Thank you for listening to Soul Activation Podcast. For more information about me, visit SuzanneAlexandria.com. Tune in every second and fourth Monday, 2 p.m. Central, 5 p.m. Eastern at transformationtalkradio.com.